All right, suppose you live in Phoenix or you live just about anywhere else and global warming really kicks in. And you still want your avocados to grow. Well, what are you going to do? Because avocados really don't like, anything above 100. And they really don't like above 100, but they've handled 118 2 days in a row at my ranch with severe burn on the southwest side of the tree. The avocados were black on one side, good on the other. And of course, I did eat the good side. Here we have a Hass avocado. Now, we are in Los Gatos. That means the cats. I don't know why they call it the cats, but I can only imagine. There must be a lot of cats running around here. I planted these big palm trees for my customer. This is his new house. There's another video about that. But here are the avocados I put in for him. What I didn't know is he's going to build this big structure here. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's a little overkill, but if you don't need this here. It doesn't get hot enough here. Like, those are the Santa Cruz Mountains. Those are native redwood trees, people. You have native redwood trees not far away. It's not going to get hot enough to hurt your avocados. But he doesn't mind, doing whatever is required of his plants. He was overly protective. I would have told him not to do this. But if you were in Phoenix, this is a great idea. So you get your 20-foot 4x6s, probably pressure treated if you want them to last a while. Don't get them pressure treated if you're worried about the chemical that's in it. I don't know how to advise you on that, so I won't. And then you just build a big frame, and then you get a big shade cloth like this. And here's the beauty of this. You can get the shade cloth in any degree of shade. I would imagine a place like Phoenix, probably, 40% blockage, 30% blockage would be perfect. And you can grow all kinds of other things in there too. And you can even create like a nice little propagation area or even seating area under here because it feels great in here, this shade. But the other great thing that you can do is if you're in an area that gets really, really hot and it gets really, really cold, you could just throw plastic over this in the winter and you're going to get like 5 to 10 degrees of protection, even if you don't do anything to the sides. As long as you have it over the top, that's what you need. But here we have, this would be the west-facing side, so the sun would come in over here, so he's got draped over this side. Of course, he's got over the top. The trees look absolutely perfect, but you do run into a situation where they might not bloom as heavily in the shade. You'll have perfect-looking foliage with very little flowers and fruit, which is kind of what's going on right now. There's only a few fruit on these trees. See here? So they're good. They look good. But there's not a lot. There should be at this stage. These trees are pretty big. So here in the San Francisco Bay Area, immediately around the bay, you don't need to do this. This would have been a really good thing to do at my ranch. A really good thing. I don't know if I ever will, but I just paint white paint all over them, and they seem to grow out of it. They get a little burned on one side, and they just keep going. But if you're in an extremely hot climate, they also get some bad freezes. You ought to think about doing this here with the idea that the shade cloth's going to protect it a little bit from frost, definitely from the brutal sunlight. Places like Las Vegas, Phoenix, I don't know, Albuquerque maybe, Tucson, St. George, Utah. You probably have a decent shot of growing these things if you just do a little bit of climate modification. Even a place like where I live up in winters where it's really hot, inland, think about that because these trees don't need to be much bigger than this to produce a lot of fruit. The trick is to get the right amount of light in there. A place like Phoenix has so much light, you could take quite a bit away and still have ample. But here in the Bay Area, we have the perfect amount of light. So when you add shade cloth to this, maybe he just does it on the hottest days. I'll have to ask him. I have a question to ask. This is really cool. I love your structure. We're talking all about it.
Yeah.
I'm hassling you a little bit because it's a little overly protective of your babies.
Yeah, no, I know. Well,
if you're in Phoenix, this would be the best thing you could possibly do.
I'll tell you what. So we lost one.
Oh, no.
Last fall in the heat. And I think it was actually a drainage issue because this is...
Shouldn't have died from the heat here.
Yeah, it was really shitty soil. So I think we drowned.
This is on public television.
Yeah, okay, well... I charged Cindy Crawford $300,000 a shooting day.
Oh,
So
okay. All right.
But So yeah, no, we fixed the drainage, but then they were looking really the direct light at the end of the day because it's facing west.
This exacerbates it.
Yeah,
This
that's
gets
right.
hot.
That's
This
right.
this artificial
And
turf.
so we had kind of some of that Home Cheapo stuff up, and it wasn't enough. So yeah, I put 70%.
70. That's what it is.
70, and these things are just loving it.
They love it. So I talked about that. The trick is to get the proper amount of light in there,
Yeah.
because with a little too little, they'll look gorgeous with very little fruit. They won't bloom as much.
Gotcha.
And but if you can increase the light, that'll make them like flower more.
So my thoughts are.
And then when they do flower, you got to throw a bunch of honey water on them.
Oh, honey water.
Attract
a
the
good call.
bees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna plant some African basil and some alyssium and stuff. Just try to get.
Rosemary is what I like the best.
Oh, rosemary
It's
is
just the bees just come.
love it.
They love it.
Okay.
Yeah, they love
Done.
it.
We'll put some rosemary.
Yeah,
on.
yeah. You need bees in April and May. That's when you need them.
Yeah.
So-
And but yeah, my goal is I was gonna rip as soon as I got through the heat, I was gonna see how I was gonna take the screen off and see if we can kind of acclimate them.
I'd leave the frame there for a while though, until they really get
100%.
going. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. How about planting one more in the middle? Why
Not
not?
a bad call. But these things they're gonna get pretty.
They'll get big.
I
They'll
was
get
gonna
big.
try to keep them a little shorter and
Yeah.
wider.
Yeah. That's
just
a
so we
good
can
thing.
Get to the fruit.
All right. Well, I love the structure, and it's a great idea, especially Phoenix, Las Vegas.
That's right. That's right.
Places
I'll
like
tell
that.
You what, but you notice like the heat here, like once it gets past noon, this is
It bakes.
the Sunny Knoll track. Like I saw in the title report a long time ago. I was like, oh, I wonder why they named it that. And
Sunny Knoll track.
This is Sunny Knoll. So this ridge, which goes like a mile that way and a half mile this way, I mean, it just bakes up here. And you could go a mile. You can go a mile that way.
That's what
and it's different.
I mean, native redwood habitat right there, and that signifies, a fairly moderated climate zone.
Yeah, yeah.
So you couldn't that wouldn't be there if it wasn't fairly
I know,
moderated.
so it's crazy. So what happened is whatever this ridge does,
Just
the
stops.
clouds when it's really cloudy during these days, there's a hole in the clouds
Right here.
along this ridge.
So it could be because you have that high spot right in the middle right there.
Yeah.
The higher it is, if they come this way and the
they
air goes up,
Oh,
it sucks all the moisture out of it.
Yeah.
And then when the air descends over the top, it takes all the moisture, just like in the backside of Nevada
Got
on the
it.
Sierra.
Yeah.
It's the rain shadow effect. So you might be getting a little bit of a rain shadow effect right here.
Yeah, something.
That's what happens at my place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's rad.